Hey, welcome into Mining Stock Daily. We have some market commentary and a corporate update from one of our sponsors this morning, and that's Aurelius Minerals. Aurelius Minerals trades on the TSX Venture with the symbol AUL and also on the OTC with AURQF. They had news out this morning, new drill results. These were not, the past hidden core assay results that they had released in last couple of months. This was new drill results from the Aureus East project. Happy to be welcomed by the CEO, Mr. Mark Ashcroft. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Trevor. How are you, man?
I'm very good. Thank you for coming on for this update. I've known you long enough to know that you are not an overly promotional type of person as a CEO. You had a plan for this drilling and what success looked for you with these initial drill results. The question is, did these results meet your expectations?
Yes. Well, thanks, Trev. Humbled by that. I certainly am here to demonstrate that we have a team, and remember, it's a team. It's not just me that can execute on the plan and deliver on what we've said. And yes, I'm actually beyond excited about these results. I mean, we have discovered new gold mineralization below anything that was known at the East project. Just start there. And we've encountered the high-grade nuggety gold that we'd expect to see, and we've also identified that broad mineralization that's hosting the sediments between. So we're identifying a lot of new mineralization, and this is a portion of the first three holes we drilled. So there's always the risk that you've got to fine-tune things, and we're going to continue to tune things, but I'm very excited about these results.
In the news release, and maybe I'll try to put the link to the news release into the show notes, but you had some graphics made because you've always talked about these saddles. You're going after these saddle structures, and I think it may be for a lot of people listening to the story, maybe it was something difficult to really picture in your head. Well, all the graphics that you put in the news release really do a fine job of visualizing exactly what is happening here. But the thing about these saddles is you believe there's more to hit underneath that you just couldn't get to right now.
Yeah. So I think in my personal opinion, companies should do a little more of this, a little more of basically trying to educate the investor, because there's just so much information out there that really this is how you sort of sort the wheat from the chaff. And all this does is demonstrate to the investor that we understand what we're looking for, but it also exposes the investor to some of the risks that are associated with trying to drill these structures. So in really simple terms, let's just imagine that you've got the sea floor. So so you've got sediments, you've got beds of sand. That bed of sand was compressed into the shape of the saddle as the tectonic plates merged together from the Atlantic Ocean in North America. Then you've had a rupture underground where you've had enriched gold mineral fluid come up into those sediments. And imagine it's like a stream coming through. And every time it hits one of the bedding planes, so every time it hits one of those different beds of sand, you lose some of that inertia, and that fluid settles and comes down there. And that actually eventually becomes the quartz. But there's still got fluid going through that next bed until it hits the contact of the following bed. So you've got this fluid, erupting up through there. And what the image shows is the white saddle is actually where the quartz is filled in between the sediments. And what we've identified is three occurrences of gold. One, gold in the actual quartz. Two, gold settling out between the quartz and the sediment contact. And then that sediment that's actually contained very fine particles of gold. So you've got mineralized systems. You've got gold going throughout these systems. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to educate people so that they understand, what we're looking for, but how challenging this is for the geologists. And this is what I'm most proud of. The geologists did this.
So when you go back and look at these assay results, so you'll notice pretty high grades in a very narrow intersection. So for example, hole 2, you reported 58.3 grams per ton gold over 0.35 meters. Is
Yeah.
that would that be into that quartz saddle that you just described?
Very typical. That would be, yeah, that would be in a thinner element of the quartz saddle. So the saddle's the top of the image, and then as the saddle falls off on the sides, that's where we start calling it the limbs. So the saddle's the top, and then the limbs. So the thinner contacts are more commonly associated with the with limbs, or that contact between the quartz and the sediment. That's why it's sort of important. You'll get like a good 30, 40 centimeters of that quartz and sediment contact too. So really, those higher grade numbers typically are either within the quartz themselves, where you get nuggets, or some sulfides that contain gold, or at the contact with the sediment.
Okay. And it's important to note that these were only partial holes that were assayed. This isn't the full drill hole.
Yeah, so I think we pretty much got most of hole 1 and 2, and then we started to get the numbers in from hole 3, which hole 3 stopped at a depth of 900 meters from surface. We limited out on the technical capability of the drill, and but once we started seeing those through, I thought, you know what, this is new material. Let's get it out there and let people know what we're doing. Because the goal of our program was to extend mineralization to depth, and we've done that. And we've done that. We've done that in spades. I mean, there's some really good material here. We're demonstrating. We're seeing these saddles continue onwards, and we've actually moved now from pad 1, and we've gone to pad 2. And if the readers are looking at the press release, I actually included a couple of pictures of the underground setup at pad 2, because I think it just demonstrates furthermore the professionalism of the crews we have working, on this project. We are determined to do this safely. We're determined to do this efficiently, and we're determined to do this effectively. And I think all of this it's taken us 5 months to get here, but this is demonstrating what you should expect from the team at Aurelius Minerals.
So you have assays pending that go to as far below as about 800, the 800 level below. Do you expect that? Is there any reason to believe you could go deeper than that, or do you just need to wait to see what those assay results are there and where it ends?
So we stopped that because we quite literally we drill in the underground environment. You're more limited than would be with a surface drill, because you can imagine you've got a roof above you, which we call the back in the mining in hard rock mining. And so what that means is that based on the size of your excavation, you're sometimes limited in the length of the rods you can use. So we were using 1.5 meter rods in this hole. As we started getting to the end, we ran out of 1.5 meter rods. So the team gerrymandered a bit of they actually drilled a hole in the back where they could slide a 3 meter core into the hole and then into the drill. I kid you not, these guys they MacGyvered it.
Yeah.
But the problem there is you get a little bit of deviation in the hole where it would buckle, not buckle, but it would bend on the 1.5 meter joints. You start trying to put a 3 meter rod through there, and it starts binding. And so the reality is we just started to limit out, and rather than trying to continually ream the hole and make it a little bigger to fit these 3 meters rods through, we just pulled them out and moved to pad 2. We'll see what the assays bring. We can always go back to drill more if we need to.
You've been working in underground mines for a long time. You are a mine engineer, and just kind of looking at these grades. I think a lot of people expect that for underground hard rock mining, you really need pretty high grades. Do you feel like these grades really hit that button for the market to understand that this continues to be an economic asset?
Well, I would hesitate. I wouldn't say it's an economic asset, because we're not. We haven't gone back and done that work. I think first blush, I look at this and I certainly think that this is attractive to a mining engineer. I mean, this isn't just sexy geology for the geologists. This is something where mining engineers, we can look at this and say, you know what, we might be able to make this work. So we certainly want to. I think I told you on an earlier show, we really focus. Geology is important, certainly, the rock types and the grades. Geometry, understanding the geometry is of the utmost importance. And that is even what we identified here with this first drilling program, because, you need to get that orientation right. And that's really going back to figure one, how the saddles in the three drill, the three drill holes I demonstrated there, suboptimal, good, and optimal. It really depends how you sit relative to the structure. So I'm very enthusiastic about these grades. Certainly want to drill more. I want to find volume, because that's what that's what you'd want to go in and build a mine around. But I'm really quite optimistic right now. These are very good. These are very good numbers.
Very good. I am a shareholder. I have been accumulating over the last couple of months, and so I'm happy to see the results from your own drilling, which is great to see, because I know, we saw that some of that historical stuff, it really wasn't really moving the share price much. But hopefully once you get, the market understands what these results represent, and then also hopefully future success here in the coming weeks, Mark, then we'll see a little bit more movement.
I certainly think it's about messaging, and I encourage people to read this press release. We will be doing various shows, and trying to get the story across so that investors understand what we've got here and what we've been up to. And so I look forward to bringing you more news in the near future.
All right. Mark, thank you so much. Have yourself a great rest of your week.
Thanks, Trevor.
That's Mark Ashcroft, CEO of Aurelius Minerals. Again, they trade on the TSX Venture with AUL and also on the OTC with AURQF.